Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Well-being. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Today we will look at today's commemoration. As you know, we are daily commemorating various events, commemorations like international days, years, months, weeks, and days, along with international decades that is set to commemorate and promote certain events which are of significance. And this Sunday, we are having, as usual, uh, the conference for this week from 11 onwards. From next Sunday onwards, we'll be having post lunch from 2 o'clock. So the registration form has been shared in the chat box. Whoever would like to make presentations are requested to register and send their details at the earliest, and participants can register for the participation. Today is National Day of Community Service. This is from Dominica. National Day of Community Service is celebrated on November 4th annually. It is a national holiday in Dominica that kicks off a nationwide cleanup campaign asking the local citizens to pick up the litter that has accumulated on the country streets as a result of the country's Independence Day festivities. So the Dominic government assists communities by encouraging them to participate in specific projects, but ultimately communities are allowed to choose any initiative they wish to participate. So basically, it is promoting community engagement through Community Service Day. And in the Commonwealth of Dominica, the holiday is observed followed the Independence Day. The previous day, that is yesterday, was Independence Day for Dominica. So the Caribbean island nation of Dominica achieved complete sovereignty from United Kingdom on November 3rd, 1978, and is located in the Caribbean Sea. So, community service is followed by the Dominica Independence Day activities on November 3. And, because of these celebrations and activities, the streets are filthy and cluttered with garbage and everything. So, to clean up, so the administration decided to observe a day of community service, the day after independence. As a result of this, and it has since grown into nationwide cleanup event, contributions to the cleaning up of the roads and cities were welcomed by people of all ages. Since it is a public holiday for the general population, it is a day when all citizens get together to finish authorized community programs in a single day. And as part of its support activities, the government offers rash bags, flowers, and plants, as well as garbage pickup transportation services and new gloves for sweet reapers, which are purchased from the budget allotted. So, per the request made by the community groups, the government gives budgets to them. Initially, people concentrated their efforts primarily on cleanups, but in recent years, people have begun to pay more attention to the beautification projects as well. So when we look back into the history, the first record of Dominica in November 1493, Christopher Columbus visits Dominica and records its discovery. In 1805, Dominica is captured on and off by Britain and France till the British finally succeed in 1805. And 1956, beginning of community service in Alameda Country, California, female traffic offenders started community service programs, which spread to other countries across the United States. In 1978, Dominica gains independence from the United Kingdom. This basically this day is dedicated to community service and community engagement and volunteering. And volunteering can help you gain more self-confidence. Self-confidence, self-esteem, and overall life happiness can be improved by participating in volunteering activities. Depression can be elevated by volunteerism, and volunteering can help you maintain your physical health. There are a lot of benefits, especially people think what we'll get by volunteering. You get a sense of satisfaction, purpose of life, and you have self-confidence that you can also take up some work and accomplish that work, even as an individual or as a team. And it boosts your self-esteem, overall self-worth of yourself, that you are also worth, a contribution, worth service, and it will help you in a lot more ways. So always find opportunities to volunteer. Don't think, especially nowadays, people have become so mean and selfish that, people think even before doing what is for me. But, today, because of that, many problems are rising up, because we do more and more mental health problems, psychological health problems are coming up that is impacting other domains of health. So always don't think in terms of money. When you put money or finances or economic in first place, you always, lose the other things. Of course, that is also important, equally important. I don't deny in this materialistic world. But at the same time, it is also important that money should be part of that, or may or may not be part of the service or the offering. But you should not put money at first and then gauge everything. You can do service for various purposes. You get immense satisfaction, you get physical activity, and you get socialization. You can make good friends, and you can do teamwork and learn in the process, getting along and cooperating, collaborating, and all these things. There are a lot of things that can be learned. And at the same time, you'll gain experience of doing certain things. So all these, and there are a lot more benefits. So come up voluntarily wherever you are, whatever you are doing in that, and at whichever place you are, at whichever time you are, wherever there is an opportunity, come forward, take the opportunities, do volunteering. and that will gain you immense satisfaction. And apart from other benefits like physical health, mental health, social health, and also spiritual, it gives you a feeling that you are contributing to the society. And it is the goal of community action to place communities at the center of the local service delivery. And this is how the significance of community activity inside a community. It is possible to achieve some objectives by engaging communities in the planning process. These include constructing a sense of community and social capability, assisting the community in exchanging knowledge, skills, ideas, and extending cooperation and building up social cohesion. So volunteering provides people a feeling of meaning in addition to health benefits. Giving back to society and making difference is incredibly satisfying. Volunteer work is a terrific way to meet your neighbors, and volunteering gives you the chance to meet new individuals, making new friendships or relationships. So all these, there are many other benefits. So let's use this opportunity whenever it is, to gain insights and look for engagement. And today is also International Fountain Pen Day. Hope we all might have used fountain pens, those ink pens, and still might be using, I'm using, so I use both the pens. So if we have used them, then we have good memories as well as some bad memories too, because of the blotting. Sometimes, it might have left a mark on your shirts or skirts, or, or books, or, in papers, notebooks, of that leaky pen certain times. And especially when you are playing, when you forget that you have a fountain pen or an ink pen with you, and you start playing, and if it is not so secure, then you can see ink stains. So all these are memories of using that fountain pens, and suddenly you run out of ink at times. So these certain memories, if you can remember, or if you can just try to recollect. It is a great day, and fountain pens are really wonderful, are the best in class pens. If you can just use it in a proper way with due care, and it will help you a lot in improve writing and having a pride of owning the pen. And it is a day set aside to specially embrace and promote use of fountain pens and the enjoyment of writing in general. The day is supported by many business and organizations worldwide. It is common for supporting business to hold offers and promotions either on and leading up to the day. The point of the day is to emphasize the beauty of writing with elegant tools and joy of creative writing in style. The earliest form of fountain pens was used, actually we used a different kind of pens in our ancient, and we are talking about Western context. So Egyptians in 3000 BC, they were using something called stylus. They used a raw straw to write in the ink from the vegetable gum and soot. They were also called dip pens because of the way they were dipped in the ink. Over many centuries, reservoir pens were developed, and pens that held their ink. These come from into somewhere in the year 953 and towards 17th and 18th centuries. Mentions were made of metal writing pens. So to begin with, chisels were used to mark stones, at the Stone Age, and then later on various ages as they passed on. The Egyptians used bits of papyrus reed to mark out the shapes of cuneiform, or bits of charcoal to mark words on pieces of birch bark or leaf. Eventually, ink was created using various types of plant matter and even iron. Ink now required tools for the applications, and quills, large stiff feathers from birds, wings or tails were used, and writers wrote with a carefully cut nib to draw up the ink and transfer it to the paper. This could be quite messy, so blotting paper was used to tidy up any ink splashes. Over time, the need rose for more efficient means to put ink on paper. In 1636, the fountain pen was designed by Petrarch Poneru from Romania, combined a reservoir of ink with a metal lip that didn't require being recut constantly. In 2012, the fountainpenday.org was created. The Fountain Pen Day to welcome, support, and share use of fountain pen day in day-to-day life, as well as revive handwriting as a whole. On this day, special offers are given to make it easier for those especially new to fountain pens, to give them a try, or those who already love them to upgrade or add another to their collection. While no longer the primary writing instrument in modern times, fountain pens are still used for important official works and now often treated as so. In 1828, Jason Mason improves a cheap and efficient slip nib in Birmingham, England in 1828, and a patent was filed for an ink cartridge system for fountain pens in 1890, and in 1912, efficient fountain pen was truly successful. William Schaffer designs first truly successful fountain pen. And in 1960s, fountain pen makers began to adopt the use of plastic cartridges in 1960s. So fountain pens can be used for various purposes, including everyday writing, calligraphy, sketching, as long as you get the right one that suits your needs. You need to pick up a right pen for your need. And especially there are various nibs that serves various purposes. And in the death of a salesman, the fountain pen is a symbol of greed, although they are generally associated with elegance, attention to detail, and the effort put into writing a document. And apparently, the smoothest writing fountain pen is Lamy Safari fountain pens, which are very smooth writing pens. So what you can do on this day, if you are a fountain pen lover, it is a good day to begin your collection of fountain pens, create a suitable budget for purchasing them, and begin your journey as pen enthusiast. And words written with a fountain pen surely resonate differently than words penned with a ballpoint pen or type. Compose a letter to a dear friend or a family with one and let them feel special. And also try to revive the art of penmanship by starting a group for pen pals, writing and receiving real letters. You could approach your local branch of the military or a nursing hospital to write letters to those serving in crafted fountain pen writing or start an initiative with your local library. So Leonardo da Vinci constructed and used a fountain pen during the Renaissance. And one can watch YouTube videos on stress relieving writing exercises done with fountain pens that can provide good stress relief. In the early 20th century, cartridges were made from glass and then thin copper tubing. And nowadays, this plastic is also used. So fountain pens with good nibs, like gold nibs, slowly adjust to a user over time as the metal corrodes slightly to accommodate their writing style. We have different kinds of nibs also, based on the purpose, and also different metals that is used, silver nibs, gold nibs. And the smallest fountain pen on record is called the Nano Fountain Probe and can write on paint features that are just 40 nanometers in width, which is half of a human hair. So beside writings, fountain pens are serving various other purposes, and they are versatile. They include artistic purpose such as expensive penmanship, calligraphy, pen and ink artwork, and professional art and design. And words can be very beautiful and special, not just from their meanings, but the appearance of the letters. Fountain pens do the perfect job of bringing out these lovely features of words. It provides a platform to connect and shows hangouts where enthusiasts get to meet and interact. The day provides the platform to expand one's social circle. And we have also one day dedicated to Ballpoint Day, that is on June 10th, National Ballpoint Day. And today is also Use Your Common Sense Day. In US, is observed annually on November 4th, since common sense is an important tool for living lives. And common sense is applied knowledge of simple, sensible things, such as not putting metal into microwaves or jumping into the rivers without knowing what is underwater. So nowadays, we see a lot of people lacking common sense, acting crazy, or are having a different kind of aspects that are really concerning. So a little what is required, a little bit of common sense, what should be done, what should not be done, at what time it should be done, where it should be done. All these things provide a wonderful opportunity to interact and to apply our knowledge. So we need to remind ourselves the importance of applying common sense to everyday lives and decisions to avoid unnecessary dangers, risks, challenges, and make the most of out of opportunities. In the social media age, this is a pet peeve of many. The common sense seems to have fallen by the wayside. And there are even calls for the subject stimulating common sense in the school curriculum in the US because so few seem to employ it. As already mentioned, nowadays people are lacking common sense, so we have to teach them as part of school curriculum, unfortunately. And common sense as a concept is a very ancient concept and first being brought to the limelight by the great philosopher Aristotle in the Western context. And he described as the ability with which animals, including human beings, of course, human beings are also animals, sense, perceptions, memories, and imagination to reach many types of judgments. And his thinking only humans have real reason thinking, which takes them beyond common sense. So this was then carried forward in the Roman interpretation, which holds that concepts like ideas and perceptions are held by man and make them more sophisticated than animals. Since the age of enlightenment, the term common sense has been used for a rhetorical effect, both approvingly as a standard for good taste and the source of scientific and logical axioms. In modern times, common sense is defined as a basic level of practical knowledge and judgment that we all need to help us, like live reasonably and safely. Without any doubt, applying common sense could save a lot of problems. And Common Sense Day was built by Bud Bilanch, a career mentor, motivational speaker, blogger, and author. He starred in some leading TV shows and magazines and has written 19 books that highlight how to succeed in life and how the application of common sense is vital to the success. And thus, Common Sense Day was first celebrated in 2015. So, this is very important in the context when the common sense is not so common nowadays, because our current age focuses more on enlightenment. Enlightenment, which is theoretical exercise, what passes for common sense, often more practical, so is less common. So our mental ability and life experience together teach us to make good judgments. So we are not born with common sense, but based on our interaction, based on our acquired knowledge and experiences, learning, we gain or inculcate common sense. This is a good day to spend time reviewing the events of the past with a fresh perspective. And this will help recognize areas where you made avoidable mistakes and help them make better decisions in future. When you do make that silly mistake, laugh and shrug it off as a lesson learned and continue from there. We all suffer from lapses in common sense, and the best way to deal with it is with humor and then making a different choice next time. And the thought-provoking and expository nature of the 47-page pamphlet made it powerful enough to stir people to take part in the American Revolution. And it was sold and distributed widely and read aloud at taverns and meeting places. And it was copied over 5 lakh times during the years of American Revolution. And in proportion to the population at that time, it had the largest scale and distribution of any book published in the American history. As of 2006, it remains all-time best-selling American books. So why we have to use our common sense? Thinking and making decisions might seem so normal that we at times overlook their importance. But this day reminds us it's how vital they are and raises out awareness of the effect of our choices and actions. So they also helps us avert danger for us and also others by applying common sense to our everyday doings. We get to avoid potentially dangerous or experience situations. This is not only beneficial to us but also to others as well. And today, and as humans, we have done amazing things from building airplanes to going to space. We can forget how easy it is to still make silly mistakes. This day reminds us, keeps us humble. And today is also National Waiting Day for Barbarians Day in South Africa and the United Nations. So the book about a magistrate who rules over a settlement on half of the empire, of which Waiting for the Barbarians was the first book published in 1980. And he was faithful servant, but certain events and the arrival of interrogation experts jolt him into sympathy with the victims. And the book describes his journey as he goes through the crisis of conscience and rebellion. So John Maxwell Sedgwick, born on February 9, 1940 in Cape Town, South African Australian novelist, essayist, linguistic and translator. Is one among critically acclaimed writers in the English language, although with national. Along with the Nobel Prize, he also won the Booker Prize, the CNA Prize, and holds several other awards along with honorary doctorates. He was the first writer to be awarded the Booker Prize once for Life and Times of Michael K. and in 1983 and again in 1999 for The Disgrace. So he spent time working with many different places around the world, including London, New York, and Texas. He currently lives in Australia. There he made a honorary research fellow in the English department of the University of Adelaide, and he is listed as Professor of Literature in English and Creating the School. So Coetzee is said to have the and today is also National Easy Bake Oven Day. And baking is easy and satisfying and rewarding experiences. And the Easy Bake Oven provides the ideal recipe for playing a fairly accurate game of pretend. The early models of Easy Bake Ovens utilize the excess heat from incandescent bulbs to heat the oven. Talk about innovation. And if you haven't done one as a child, baking, it's never too late. You can even start now. And today is also Love Your Lawyer Day in US, where we honor lawyers in the US and encourage them to keep going despite the often negative reputation they have. Even Shakespeare had nasty things to say about lawyers. This is despite many lawyers doing a wonderful job in tough circumstances. And with the ever-changing work environment, law and legal system has been around almost since the beginning of mankind in various forms. And despite those who abuse it, it is still a beacon of hope that those inclined towards justice. So the earliest people who could be described as lawyers were probably the orators of an ancient Athens. The most noted historical first text of law is credited to the Barbara gang. So the earliest people who could be described as lawyers were probably the orators of ancient Athens. The most historical fact, first text of law is credited to the Babylonian king Hammurabi of Mesopotamia, dating back to 18th century in Western context. Consisting of 282 laws, the Hammurabi Code described a variety of everyday situations, from punishments to be meted out to a criminal offenders to the wages to be paid for the services rendered to one another. Initially, lawyers were not allowed to charge any fees, which made earning a living from the law tough. So the Roman system allowed for charging fees to change this. Today, modern codes of law are far more involved and convoluted than historical ones, covering every aspect of living with human society. The lawyer's job is to help with the understanding of the law and how it affects the rights of common person as well as the government. Across many societies, lawyers are perceived as crude, untruthful, and sly. This isn't true for every lawyer. There are many lawyers who set out on the paper path solely to do The lawyer's job is to help with the understanding of the law and how it affects the rights of the common person, as well as the governments. Across many societies, lawyers are perceived as rude, untruthful, and sly. This isn't true for every lawyer. There are many lawyers who set out on their career path solely to do good when it is within their power, and who are doing just that part of the reason that lawyers have a bad rep in their own work most often involves settling issues of conflict or dispute. In 2001, the National Director of the American Lawyers Public Image Association raises a legal mark to establish Love Your Lawyer Day to appreciate the lawyers and all they do. The day aims to promote public service for lawyers and judges by presenting them in a more positive. There are over 15 types of lawyers in US, including civil, criminal, business, and family law. And law is one of the oldest professions in the human history. And this has more than 1.3 million years practicing in various jurisdictions across the United States. And they are also surprising by the amount of secrets. And if you look at quickly statistics, law is one of the oldest professions in the human society, and there are more than 1.33 million lawyers practicing in various jurisdictions, same the US. And there are surprisingly number of celebrities who attend law school amongst others. So this day gives us insight into the law profession and how it helps understand legal matters and maybe some new legal jargon during interactions with lawyers. We get to appreciate lawyers for all the good work they do on this day. And this will furthermore encourage them to keep something, maybe anything, as long as you are comfortable with it. And it provides a platform to think attorneys we gave to value and appreciate lawyers for all this good work they do on this day. So this further waiting is ended, and encourage them to have all out. With this, we conclude today's commemorations, and thank you everyone for joining us. Kindly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. Feedback form has been shared, is being shared in the form of polls. And now the poll has been raised and active. Kindly fill up the form. In due course of time, certificate will be made available. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form shared in the form of polls. And see you all tomorrow at the same time.